It's my deep, deep belief that the best of our leaders are in prison. It's my deep belief that the best of our doctors are in prison. It's my deep belief that the best of our counselors against drug addiction are in prison. It's my deep, deep, deep belief that the best of who can defend us and keep our society peaceful are the ones in prison. That's my deep, deep belief.
Right now with Project Rebound, we're currently corresponding with people who are currently incarcerated inside Pelican Bay and looking to get their education. I personally communicated with about 115 of the people currently inside, and it's just super motivational and super inspirational to see everybody really hyped up to get their education and see these people not broken by the system and still being scholars and still really charged up on life, and they really inspire me to do my classwork and schoolwork. So that's been really cool. I'm looking forward to get more of them here on campus at HSU when the time comes.
CRGS, the Critical Race, Gender, and Sexuality Studies, is going to be teaching courses in Pelican Bay in the very near future. So I'm really excited about that. I volunteered to sign up, and I think it's huge. I think educating someone goes so much more towards making them have a better life and worldview and understanding than punitive punishment.
The correctional community programming, I think, is key, because a lot of communities, a lot of races, they really adapt well to Native traditions, because I think it's rooted in something other than an evidence, right? And it's not from 73 forward by Dr. So-and-so. It's since time began, really.
Whenever I ask people in prison if they have more hope today than they did 10 years ago, they all say yes, and the laws are changing. I would tell your loved one, no matter what sentence they have, keep pushing in the right direction and they're going to be home. And they're going to be home much sooner than they think.
We're fighting for the release of our brothers from, the California prison system. And then when you actually see it taking place, it's beautiful. And it's happening more frequently now. And I do want to acknowledge one thing. As you was talking to Scott, I remember being in prison at Ironwood specifically, in a building that's designed to hold 100 people, and there's 200 people in the building. And they have people, they have 200 more people in the gym. And then they started putting bunks in the day room, and they were literally just stacking bodies on top of bodies until these laws started passing. So we were well over 170,000, and right now we're below 100,000. We still got a lot of work to do, but we've helped, or ARC has helped, gain the release of tens of thousands of human beings from the prison system. Something I'm very proud of, and when it comes to this organization.
Some of the research that I did with folks getting out of the women's prison that was in Minnesota, this kind of very issue came up where I talked about it in terms of perplexity, because the women's prison in Minnesota, there's only one, and it's weird. It's like no prison I had ever encountered. It looks like a middle school. And there's no fence, and the security is really minimal. But then it produced this kind of real strange tension when folks would get out of that prison and go to reentry facilities of varying sorts that were much more a lot of the folks that I talked to said that they were much more like prison than the actual prison.
And really, in our country, we're our number one solution to everything is incarceration or some kind of institution, which is putting these band-aids on, and we never really get to, the core problem, right? It's just with drug addiction, it's drugs aren't the problem. There's a core issue that's going on. What's that core issue?
For us, even if we've been incarcerated or somebody in our family's been incarcerated, we need to help them think through the process. Because yes, do people need to take responsibility for their behavior? Of course they do. But what about the behavior that created the environment that resulted in their individual behavior? Nobody is being forced to take responsibility for that, and without doing that, you can't get the whole picture. And the person who's done the last act in the chain of events is shouldering all of that blame.
To loop this back to mass incarceration, if we were to think about reparations and how it could be implemented in this country, I think it would be a travesty to not address the prison industrial complex and the mass incarceral state in the United States of America. I think it's something that would absolutely have to be a part of changing the face of the United States of America in terms of, you know, how it's treating Black and brown people.
You know, a hate crime against one of us is a hate crime against all of us. You know, we need to be collective. This is like what Fred Hampton talked about, what Cesar Chavez talked about, what De La Cruz talked about. You know, the systems in place want to tear us apart, and we need to band together. We're all brothers and sisters.
Sis had just met a couple people for the first time, and she said, "I love you already, and I just met you because loving is easy."
Yep.
Right. And
Thank
you know, if you can approach life like that, like loving is easy, literally loving people is easy. That's how we change this criminal justice system, and that's how we change the world.
Right.
Exactly.
Man, mic drop, end right there.